Welcome to Medcalf Flooring's first video of a refinishing project. It was done for a friend of mine who is the owner of Salon La Terre in South Minneapolis' Uptown. She's remodeling after being in the building for 15 years in order to update the styling and shampoo stations. My part was to refinish the maple floors that are in the lobby and hair care products area that receive a lot of foot traffic. As you can see from the before shots, the finish is worn completely off in high traffic areas. In step 1, we're doing what we call the rough sanding. Using the big machine for the middle and the edger for the edges, we usually start around 36 grit and we'll step our way up to the finer grits like 80 to 100 grit. The trick to running the big machine is to keep the machine moving while you lift the drum off the floor or while setting it down. Most of the cutting or sanding action of the big machine is happening while I'm pulling the machine backwards. In the hard-to-reach areas such as corners and under toe kicks of counters, we use a hand scraper that we keep sharp with a metal file. Next, we prep the floor for the fine sanding process by vacuuming up any dirt or grit that's left behind. In this final sanding process, using 80 or 100 grit sandpaper, we sand the edges with the orbital sander and sand the middle with the buffer. This will ensure that the difference in sanding between the edges and the middle will blend without noticing. After all the sanding is done, we of course do a thorough vacuuming before we apply our first coat of finish. The coating process usually works best when two people are coating the floor. One person cuts in the edges using a China bristle paintbrush, and the middle is applied using a lamb's wool applicator. It's important to apply the finish with the grain. 2 more coats were applied on days 2 and 3, bringing us to the 4th and final coat on day 4. In prepping the floor for coats 2, 3, and 4, we use very fine grit sandpaper, meaning 220 grit on both the orbital sander and the buffer. Then, using a maroon pad, we do a final buffing of the floor. Then we give it a thorough vacuuming. Then, using a clean, damp rag towel, we tack the floor to remove any fine particulates. When preparing the finish, we always strain to ensure a nice, clean coat of glitza. When working with glitza or any other floor finish, always wear the proper safety protection. Because this is a commercial application, we decided to apply 4 coats of glitza in order to give a substantial layer of solids to the floor. So now my friend Tracy and her groovy Salon La Terre in Uptown will have a beautiful and durable finish to last years.